trigger points for me is always loss. If you don't push yourself out of your comfort zone, you don't challenge yourself, you're never going to get anywhere.
I'm forever grateful for you, Lawrence. So, thank you very much for joining me today, Lawrence. Lawrence is a very good friend of mine. I've known Lawrence now for 15 years, maybe.
And a little bit more, showing our age.
A long, long time. We've DJ'd all across the Midlands together, worked together in banking. Like I said, known each other for a long time, but I'd just like to take it back just slightly and get you to describe who Lawrence Roberts is.
It depends on who knows me. I think people who know me, like friends and family, they'll probably say I'm courteous, thoughtful, loving, sometimes a little bit annoying. I think my friends would class me as somebody I just don't shut up. Always want to talk, always want to know things, a bit inquisitive. And if you know me through work, it's an interesting one really because I have a couple of personas, and I think one of the ones that I like to put on at work is the better version of myself. Yeah. So that's where you have an amalgamation of all of the bits outside of work all rolled into one. But I've had things like you're unique in a positive and negative way. I've had things like you're weird, which is great because I like being weird. I think it's a very powerful thing to be weird or different. But I think everybody will always say that I'm one of those people that will always commit to things. Yeah. Okay. And it works both ways. Yeah. If I commit to something, I want people to commit to me as well. But I think the overarching word in that would be commitment.
Okay. All right.
Committed individual.
Perfect. So going back to your childhood then, so what was life like for you growing up? What was in your household? Did you grow up with your mother and father, siblings?
Yeah, so I got I've got a brother and a sister, older brother, older sister. So I'm the youngest out of the three of us. And my dad was with us till I was about 8, maybe 9. And my parents divorced. I would say growing up it was an interesting one because I think if you asked me then, I was having the time of my life. Literally, it's like I was a big dreamer. So I used to literally I could be awake and still dream and just think about things that I wanted to do. So I always thought about things in a positive way. If you didn't have anything, it never used to faze me because it's never that I wanted it because I had everything I had. But then reflecting on my younger years as an adult, that's where it can be a little bit more, I would say, difficult to understand what you actually go through. Because outside all the dreaming, the positive things, the fun, the laughter, the stupid things that I did, there was always that sense of belonging or loss. Depends on which way you look at it. So for me, the way I am now almost comes from the loss of having a dad. But on the flip side to it, the powerful part of that is
of having a dad or not
of not having
a dad. Okay.
So that was the main problem. Not having a dad as an older person made me reflect on who I was. Okay. But then when you look back at it, there was negatives, there was issues, and maybe the certain things that I do now, which can be construed as probably negative, that derive from my dad, but there's a lot of things positive that came out of that experience. And that's a great thing about reflection, because I think as human beings or people, we can always blame other people for certain things. And nobody really knows what the true story was, or nobody really knows what somebody's mind thought process was. So if it was for me, it was more of a case of looking back and reflecting on the things that not necessarily I didn't have, but the things that make me into the person today. So it's a balancing scheme. If you think of 50 negative things, you've got to find 50 positive things. So I think growing up for me was an interesting one because I didn't think nothing different. I've heard before, and I've had friends of mine who said that maybe you don't fit in for a certain reason, and that's what I mean by belonging. I never fitted in with anybody, if I'm honest with you. I was the kind of guy that would write poetry at the age of 11, 12, 13. There's not many kids nowadays that will sit down and write poetry. So that made me a little bit weird. I'd dream about things where it would be, every time I used to dream about things, I used to want to manifest it, but I didn't understand what manifestation was until I was a little bit older. But I would say the biggest thing for me when I reflect on who I was as a youngster, it was almost like it was just vanilla. If that makes any sense. It didn't have no strawberry, didn't have any chocolate. It was a very plain flavour. And I think as I got to middle teenagers, probably 15, 16, 17, that's when I started the first part of reflection. And that part was very negative, very much blaming and very much like non-ownership and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I can't take ownership for what happened with my parents, but I can take ownership for the way I felt.
Yep.
And if I'm fully honest, from about 15 to about 18 or 19, I was lost.
Yeah.
Completely lost.
You mentioned there about being lost. I know you quite well, and I know you're very good at adapting to whatever situation that you're put in.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's something you had to learn growing up from a young age, being able to adapt to different scenarios?
It kind of a bit of it comes from my sister.
Okay.
My sister's a really interesting individual.
Yeah.
Same as my brother, but my sister's very much like, she listens to outside noise, but she does what she wants.
Yep.
So for me, it was more of a case of, if you're ever lost in your memories, or you're lost in your thoughts, or you're lost in the position that you are, you have to take a bird's eye view look at yourself.
Yep.
And instead of trying to challenge or tackle your way out of it, you just got to remove yourself out of that situation. So as much as I felt lost, I was still on a journey.
Yep.
So my journey hadn't finished.
Yep.
So how can I be lost if I'm still not where I need to be at?
Yep.
And as far as I'm concerned, you're born and you die.
Yep.
So at the point where I die, I understand my journey's completed in full. And at that point, I can't reflect.
Yeah, I get that. So growing up as well, so correct me if I'm wrong, your father was a black man, is that right? So was you still in touch with your father's side of the family?
Not really, no. There was obviously the family over in the UK, so I'd speak to them quite a lot. I mean, I've got loads of cousins and things like that, and we didn't see them very often, but we saw them regularly, I would suggest. That's probably would do.
Yeah.
Probably one of my reflection points, probably when I got to about 30, was I understood my roots.
Yeah.
Because my mum taught me a lot about
That's what I was going to go on to, yeah.
So I understood my roots in regards to culturally.
Yeah.
So I understood what my dad did, what my grandfather did, my grandma did, etc., etc. But I've never immersed myself in that world. Okay. So one of the biggest regrets I had, I remember when I turned 30 and I said, I've got to get to Jamaica. Yeah. I've got to get to Jamaica because there's people over there and family over there that I won't get to see. I won't get to experience. And it was interesting because throughout the COVID pandemic, what did I do? I just spoke to a lot of family. Yeah. So I put that to bed a little bit, but there's still a part of me, and I think the part of me that's lost, especially if you think culturally, is I don't know or I haven't felt what it's like to be one half of what I am. Okay. If that makes any sense. I live in the UK. Yeah. I'm surrounded by English people. Yeah. So I understand that, and I understand black culture. Yeah. But I've never lived it, if that makes any sense. Yeah. So one thing I need to do, it's on my bucket list, is I need to get myself to Jamaica. So when it happens, it happens.
Yeah. Obviously, Jamaica is the motherland, is home. I went to Jamaica last year, and I had this weird feeling that come over me as soon as I got off the airplane, and I thought, this isn't actually home. Like, we were taken there from Africa hundreds of years ago by force. Yeah. How can we call this home?
I think home is where home is where you feel comfortable. Yeah. And it's interesting you say that because my nephew went to Jamaica and he met some of the family as well. And he had a very different perspective. He felt like he was at home. Yeah. So I think for some people it's if you understand the history, you can kind of relate to it in a slightly different way. And I'm quite similar to you. So I will think about history and I won't just have one feeling or emotion. I'll attach feelings and emotion with information and knowledge. Okay. Whereas my nephew's very different. Yeah. He needed, because of the kind of life that he's had, he needed a connection. I see. I don't think I need a connection. I just need to fill a gap. Yeah, I hear you. Which is probably similar to you. You need to fill a gap that's wide open and could be good, bad, or indifferent, but there's a gap that still needs to be obviously filled. I hear you. So I get where you're coming from, and I think part of me does feel like that. But on the flip side to it, I want to feel what it's like to be around the people that made me. Yeah, that makes sense. Rather than just one side of my family that's made me. I hear you. So your mum took it upon herself to learn about the black community, is that right? Yeah, I mean, I'll probably go back to my mum quite a lot of the time. Do you know what, to be fair, it's a bit of a cliche because you hear a lot of young black men, or I don't know, let's say middle-aged black men like myself, who typically have an affiliation with their mum because of their relationship with their dad. And my mum didn't do it intentionally, but she wanted to further herself. So when my dad left, you can imagine it was like beans on toast for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Smiley faces.
Yeah, exactly that. And my mum, literally, very powerful woman.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't know it from speaking to her.
Yeah.
Because she's very humble.
Yeah.
She wanted to further education. She wanted to provide for us. So when she went to university, her first thought was to get, and I believe this is the right thing, she might tell me different.
Yeah.
I believe she wanted to provide for the family. But on the flip side to it, my mum's a very inquisitive person. So she's similar to me, and I think I've got the trait from her. If something has happened or you're put in a position, you want to learn from it.
Yeah.
So because she'd been with, obviously, my dad, she wanted to learn about that part of the culture. And it wasn't stemmed from divorce. I think it was more just inquisitiveness. And the one thing for me that really helped with me is because I didn't speak to my dad much after about the age of 8 years of age, sparingly, but not a lot.
Yeah.
It was never, I never had deep and meaningful conversations with my dad.
Yeah.
It was a very different relationship. But with my mum, I mean, go to school, you learn something about history, and then you go home and you go, something doesn't feel right here. Yeah. Like something's missing. And my mum was there to like enable me to fill those gaps in.
Yeah.
So I've heard a lot of as well where like your mum ends up being your mum and your dad.
Yeah,
I've got a classic example of that. Yeah. The conversations I'd have with my mum, I could have with nobody, literally nobody, whether it be a best friend of mine, my brother, my sister. Yeah. But on the flip side too, we can talk about politics. Yeah. We can talk about economics. We can talk about what happened back in the day. So I think as long as you've got a strong role model in your life, it doesn't matter if it's male or female, black or white. Yeah. It's a case of I look to my mum for education. That's the only education I took seriously. Yep. Okay, I'll go to school, got my GCSEs, all that kind of stuff. Great. In the working world, that's great. In the world that I live in outside of work, none of that stuff helps me. Yeah. So that's where I think most of my traits or the way I think or the way I am is half to do with my mum, and the other half is because of my relationship with my dad.
Yeah. Okay, no, that's fantastic. So going back to young Lawrence, could you have ever imagined life as where it is right now for you, being a director at Christie Finance?
That's a really weird question. I think from a dreaming perspective, but I never used to dream about, I don't know, sitting there with a pile of money. Yeah. I'd dream about things where I would see like, you'd see like politicians and you'd see like people of power. Okay. And you see people in certain positions. Yeah. And I dreamt about having the ability to be in that position. Yep. And if I'm completely honest with you, did I want the career I've got now? No. But DJ. I want to be a DJ, footballer, everything. But obviously, I haven't got the physique for a footballer no more. But yeah, I think when I was younger, I knew I was capable of something. Yeah. I just didn't know what I was capable of. Yeah. And it's, I mean, I wouldn't say it was traumatic, but it's quite close to traumatic, my career, because a lot of people might look at like my LinkedIn or my career and go, okay, he's been really successful the last 4 years. He's done really, really well. Yeah. But behind the scenes, it's a very different story. Yeah. And I think when I was probably around about, in my troubled time between about 15 and 18, maybe to about 19, my confidence went downhill. And it's never got back. Now, you probably think it's probably quite weird me saying that because I can come across as quite confident. Yeah. But there's a different type of confidence, and you have to use confidence to a way in which it can develop your insecurities.
Is there something that triggered that?
Everything for me comes down to loss, and I could lose a £5 note, right to losing a loved one. Yeah. The trigger point to me is always loss, and if you think about like my career, I've been very loyal. I've worked for 3 companies since I was 18, so for me it's like, how can I explain it? It's like if you don't push yourself out of your comfort zone and you don't challenge yourself, you're never going to get anywhere. And I remember speaking to somebody when I was around about 22, maybe 23, in the bank. And they kept on talking about this thing called imposter syndrome. I was like, what's that? Like, how can you...
Back before it was trending.
Yeah, exactly that. And you hear it a lot now. Yeah. I think your previous guest talked about it as well. And it's interesting people's take on it because I know I'm able to do things and I know I'm deserving of the role that I'm in. But it's having to live that life every single day, and that's where the imposter syndrome comes in, because for me it's about anxiety, it's about wanting to be the best, excellence, and that kind of stuff. It's not necessarily I don't feel as though I fit that or I don't deserve it. It's more of a case of me proving to myself every single day,
still to this day.
Exactly that. I mean, my thought process, especially when I joined Christie Finance, was I need to understand what I was capable of.
Yeah.
My missus sat me down, probably what it would have been about 9 years ago. And my missus is very straight talking. I mean, if you think I am, you want to meet her. Yeah. And she mentioned something to me, and initially I took it as an offence. She was like, "You're wasting your time. You're wasting your life. You deserve so much better than this. You can do better than that." Yeah. And those are the kind of things that I think spur me on. Because in my mind, I'm like, can't do this. Even when I was made regional director, I was going back to an old place in my previous role at the bank where I hated dealing with people in regards to having to manage people.
That surprised me.
Yeah, because I'm a people person.
Yeah.
But I strive for excellence, and I strive for people to be exactly like me. And if you're a little bit deluded, if you're going to think everyone's going to be like you. Yeah.
Even if you give everyone the answers to the interviews.
Exactly that. Yeah, exactly that. So it's like that was really challenging because you find things that you're not very good at. Yeah. But when I find something that I'm not very good at, I put it on a scale of whether I need to be good or don't need to be good. Yeah. But everything always comes back to the point of I have to prove myself. Even if I've proven myself, I still have to prove myself even further. Mm-hmm. And that's probably one of the negative things from, obviously, my relationship with my dad. But on the flip side to it, it caused a lot of anxiety. It caused a lot of stress. But that's the thing that drives me every single day of the week.
It's a blessing and a curse, isn't it, at the same time?
It is. And I mean, my mum's a massive advocate of me. But in my mind, I'd expect your mum to be an advocate of you. Yeah. The conversation with the missus was very different because I'm just like, hang on, you're telling me something that's quite negative and you're meant to love me and care for me and respect for me. But it was done out of love, care and respect. So I think the biggest thing I've learned is feedback's really important. Yeah. And I think as your previous guest has talked about, listen to your friends and family. Yeah. I'd say listen to your enemies as well.
That's very true.
Because your enemies are going to tell you what they're jealous of. Yeah. And that will give you the impetus to go, well, okay, if you think that, I must be that. Yeah. And if someone's giving you feedback to say maybe you should approach this in a slightly different way, that comes from a place of love as well. So you can have a positive and a negative reaction to things, but you need to use it as your own superpower.
I like it. So finding the career path that you're on today, so you've been in music, you've been in banking, you've been in brokering, well, you're currently in business brokering, is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I always feel, for me personally, we used to DJ together many years ago. I feel like a lot of lessons I've taken from DJing, that's being able to control the room, speaking on the microphone, has helped me get to where I am today with my confidence. Yeah. Do you ever feel like that?
Yeah, I mean, I remember when we played in Redditch.
Yeah.
And I can remember, and I remember this vividly. I was telling you, get on the mic. No, play my music. Yeah. The reason why I did that is because I struggle with going on the mic. Yeah. And you probably wouldn't even think that. But if I encourage somebody to do something and you do it,
what edges
it allows me to do what I need to do. So it's like
Joker.
Apologies for that. I should have told you that when I said it. I'm just trying to think of the question now. Just remember the question.
The lessons
for me. It's like music's an interesting one for me. Music is my absolute release. Yeah. So I've got a lot of hobbies that I do, but hard day at work, I'll go home, I'll make music. Great day at work, I'll go home, make music. When I'm in the car, I listen to music. Yeah. So music for me has never been a job, even though I want it to be a job. Yep. And I think the lesson that I learned from that is you can love something, but you don't have to monopolise on it. And that's where I think you need to look at relationships. And I look at relationships the same way. You can like somebody, but you don't have to monopolise on that relationship. I believe you have relationships to learn and to experience life. And then you have other kind of relationships where it's literally a transaction. Yeah. So I think music helped me believe in my own self-confidence. Okay. Because as you said, controlling a room, it's not an easy thing to do.
It's not.
It's not. Especially when someone's asking for ABBA and currently you're playing something that's R&B.
Shabba Ranks.
Yeah, exactly that. So that made me think people are very, very different. Yeah. But people are also very accommodating. Yeah. So if you can control them in such a way, they're going to experience something that they're going to like, and you're going to experience the same thing as well. Yeah. I think they're moving into banking. It made things a little bit more rigid for me, if I'm honest with you, because I think music's quite free. Yeah, as a DJ, you can turn up and go, well, okay, the idea is R&B today, but there's 10 million tracks to pick from. So you can go soft, you can go a bit harder, you can go to lovers, you can go to all different types of. With the bank, it was more of a structured way of being, learning, development, and talking. And that was key for me, I think, because music, and when I was younger, I was a little bit, again, dreamer. I used to say things I never used to think about. Yep. and I probably still do to a certain degree. But banking gave me that almost like conformity, like rigidness to go, well, like you can be yourself, but you also have to act and behave in a slightly different way. And that was really interesting because the job I had before that, I was working at a solicitor's firm.
Before banking?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
You wouldn't have known that because I don't like talking about it. But that's probably, for me to move from that environment to banking was, I would say, an easy step to make.
Okay.
But the stuff that I learned through banking in regards to now going to brokering, that's probably one of the biggest jumps I've ever done in my whole entire life.
Your current role?
Yeah. I mean, just even go wind back 7 years ago when I first joined Christie Finance. Yeah. Like, you have to have self-belief, you have to have confidence. And I walked in there thinking, I've got 15 years worth of experience at a high street bank. I know I can read a profit and loss, I can read a balance sheet, I can talk to people, I can negotiate, I can analyse. But when you see things from a slightly different angle or a massively different angle, that's where your eyes start opening up. And I think if you think about like music as one, you're in your own little world. Mm-hmm. So you like your certain music, you'll go out and play certain music, and if you like it, you'll enjoy it. If you don't, you don't. With banking, it was very much like you are scripted to a certain degree, or you've got something that stops you from being your full self. To being dropped into a business that, initially we didn't really have much values as a company. Like, we didn't talk about it, but you could clearly see it was like a grown-up environment. You had an environment there with like really experienced people. I went from being a shining star to like the newbie. I went from being in a company with thousands of people down to like, well, we still got hundreds of people, but the spotlight's on you. So for me, the most difficult thing there was going from a place where I could hide to going to somewhere where I can't hide, which just made imposter syndrome get even bigger, anxiety even bigger, confidence. I thought I had confidence when I first started.
Shattered.
Absolutely shattered. And it was to a degree where it wasn't that the company did it to me, I did it to myself. I'm
sure that interview process though must have played a part.
I mean, when
I need you to speak about that.
The interview for me was, my previous MD, lovely guy, but he was a kind of person that could walk into a room and you'd have to go and talk to him. You'd have to know he was there. You'd have to acknowledge him. And I think he was actually younger than me, or still is younger than me. And I remember on my way into London, I was thinking to myself, right, I need to know what I'm doing here. I need to make sure I'm comfortable in this. And I was reading a lot of policy, like bank policy. I was like, right, I need to know what this is. I need to know that 10 plus 10 equals 20. And I got there, and the first thing he said to me was, right, tell me about the high street banks and the challenger banks and what you think is going to happen in the future. I'm like, has the interview started? Like, is what I'm going to say going to affect this? And luckily, I read a newspaper.
I was going to say it was a newspaper,
which was talking about challenger lenders. And I just spoke freely and openly. And I just thought, at that point, I thought to myself, I've got a career in the bank. If this doesn't go well, I've still got that. Even I've still got my missing in my mind going, you deserve better.
Was you headhunted for this role?
So I had a conversation with a guy who used to be based in Birmingham. Had a quick chat, and again, that was a bit of a weird experience for me because I'm used to like criteria-based questions. Like, tell me the time when you've gone through this.
The star. This is the star.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm having a conversation with you, and we've not even spoke about anything like that. So it was a very different conversation, and I think it allowed me to be me. Whereas in the bank, I was a version of me, but not the full, complete version. And when I went to the interview, like, he asked me that question in the lift, and I'm just thinking, right, like, sweat start coming on. I'm starting to think, right, I can't say that because that might be like different. And I just literally waffled an answer. Like, when I mean waffled an answer, I don't even think I understood what I said. And the pleasing thing about that was, he just kind of turned around to me and said, it's great to hear. It's a different outlook on it. It's a different perception. And because you've come from banking, it's really important to hear that. So I've never been in a situation like that where you've been out of control, or you feel like you're out of control, but somebody accepts you for who you are. And the interview process, I mean, I've never been in an interview where 80% of it was about me and my character or about my family. And that's when I kind of knew that's where I need to be. At that point in my life, and even now, and probably even still for years to come, that's where I need to be. I need to be in a place that recognises who I am, not necessarily what I generate, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I mean, one of the weirdest interviews I've ever had, and I've only had, let's say, I don't know, 6. 1 out of 6.
No, that's fantastic. So at that point in your life, for you to take the leap from banking to brokering, Is that what made you go across the line to feel accepted and to be seen?
Yeah, I think you mentioned risk. It was never a risk for me because I knew I was capable of doing something different. I mean, there's an argument to say I was lazy, or the other side of it is I had anxiety build up. But then having a conversation with the missus, it turned from a risk into something that I deserve, if that makes any sense. So my mindset changed very, very quickly. It was an interesting one, and I think if I take myself back to, I remember when I was talking to the boss about the package that I was going to be getting, and I was on holiday in Cape Verde, and the miss turned to me, she's like, who keeps calling us? I'm not too sure, but I'll have to pick up the phone. And it was a really weird experience because in the bank and in places where I've worked before, it was almost like, that's what you're doing, and that's your salary, and it's your reward package. Whereas I got the distinct impression they wanted me to negotiate with them.
Yeah, up it.
And I'm sitting there going, okay, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And it was only afterwards when I spoke to Miss and I said, right, I don't know what's happened there, but I've managed to get something better than I thought.
Yeah.
But also, as a result of that, I put more pressure on myself. She was like, well, what have you done? I said, well, my target's gone up. Yeah. And she was like, okay, how do you feel about that? And I said, well, you believe I can do it, so I'm asking you how you think.
Yep.
And she just turned to me and she went, I know you can do it. And sometimes I think there's people in the world who just have that natural confidence to just go, I'm going to do it.
Yep.
And I think you have, especially with your business as well.
Yeah.
I haven't got that natural ability because I always reflect and always remember that I have to keep being the best version of myself. So for me, I need that one person or a collective of people to go,
by your side, and
you've done that well.
Yeah.
Or that was the correct thing for you to do. I don't need praise. I just need to know that I'm in the right place.
Yeah, you're on the right path.
Yeah, and it feels comfortable.
Okay. Yeah. So just explain to the viewers a little more about what it is you do as a broker at Christie.
I mean, if you ask my team, nothing. If I'm completely honest with you, shout out to my team. But no, so we are a brokerage. And to explain what brokerage means, it's a financial brokerage. So typically we help clients buy businesses or reposition their business. But on the backside of that, we're part of a larger group, which is the Christie & Co group. So they will sell businesses, they'll consult on businesses, they'll value businesses. And that group is also part of a bigger network as well. So there's a good few companies within our group. But specifically what we do in general terms, if, let's say, for instance, you wanted to buy the building that you're currently in at the moment, you wouldn't know where to turn. You'll probably go to your bank and your bank won't be able to talk to you about it. What I will do is have a conversation about what you want and what you're comfortable having. And that's two different things, really. So if your want is £1 million property, that's great. What you're comfortable with. I'm comfortable with a £200,000 manufacturing unit that I can change over. So without being cliched and a little bit sickly with my comment on here, we make dreams come true. But those dreams are more business related. So it could be somebody who's starting out. I mean, we're really good with first time buyers because they can't navigate into the market. It's quite difficult. Very good at repositioning businesses. So if you've, I don't know, maybe taken a little bit too much finance or COVID's been a bit of a problem for you, if you've lost a contract, things like that, we can consult you and talk about your options. And typically, the people that we speak to are quite surprised with the options that you can come up with. And it's probably because one of the main reasons I came from banking, it's very much a yes and a no culture. Whereas with us, it's a case of, well, we're going to question you and challenge you on what you're looking to try and do. And then we're going to give you a dose of reality. And that reality could be, perfect, we can do this for you. Or it could be, I don't think this could actually work for you because of the following reasons. And then obviously follow through with that with just making sure that whatever we do, we're engaging people who can stimulate the economy much better by us introducing them to banks or lenders or different houses. Because I've had situations where clients have come to me looking to try and grow their business. But they haven't dealt with a problem within their current business. So you could say that we're stopping dreams, but that's the reality comes in, because in order for you to grow, you have to make sure your house is in order.
I hear you.
So a lot of what we do is literally assisting with acquisitions, buying businesses, buying property, injecting cash into businesses to help with cash flow. But on the flip side to it is it's that consultative nature, and it's more like a holistic approach to what the client wants. Because if the client wants something, sometimes we can be, we'll do that. Yeah, we can do that. But that's not going to help them. It's not going to help you. So it's almost like a reality check. But on the flip side to it as well is helping people realise their dreams. We're just supporting them, speaking to banks on their behalf, speaking to lenders on their behalf, introducing them to accountants, into solicitors, into people who can help them, whether it's a case of mentorship and stuff like that. So we're not just a one-stop shop.
Okay.
I think we're a lot better than just being a single broker who just goes, right, if you need 200 grand, I've got Bob here, who'll give you 200 grand.
Yep.
It's a much bigger thing than that.
Okay. Not your industry, not your industry, but not your company specifically, but you've been at Christie's for 8 years. Is that right?
Just up 8 years in November.
So have you noticed any changes within the industry itself with like AI?
Massive amounts.
Yeah.
I mean, funny enough, we're talking about AI within the business at the moment, and it's one of those things where I think some businesses have fully embraced it, and other businesses are absolutely scared of it. And the thing I would say to everybody is, whether you like it or not, AI is a part of your life right now. So I've seen a lot of trends in regards to mainly some of the information that comes out, because you can kind of tell if something's been, when you know somebody's character or you know somebody's position, you can tell whether it's got a bit of influence from AI or whether it's completely them.
Yep.
And I think AI for me at the moment, especially in our world, it can be used in the wrong way.
Yep.
So, for instance, something might change with the Bank of England base rate.
Yep.
What do? Do you throw that into AI and get that to comment on what people can see?
Yep.
Well, that's one way to look at it.
Yep.
But on the flip side to it, you can use that as a tool to generate information that you're not aware of, to then articulate your own way.
Yep.
So we are thinking about it, but I think because we are very much relationship driven and we're talking to individuals, it's an individual to an individual. It's not like, I don't know, if you're shopping somewhere, you think about, I don't know, buying a washing machine, all of a sudden AI starts sprouting stuff to you and sending you emails. That's all well and good for that kind of industry. But for us, I think it's more of a super brain or an extension to. So,
I get that.
A lot of my guys and ladies in my team and across the company, we're very busy individuals. We deal with a lot of things that come through, but what we do is manual.
Yep.
But does it all have to be manual? There's certain elements to it where if you're adding something up, do you need to use a calculator?
Yeah.
You probably don't. However, on the flip side to it, should you rely on it? No, you shouldn't. What you should do is you should use it and then double check it. And then I've looked at stuff before with like co-agents through Microsoft where you can train them.
Yeah.
You can train an agent. So it's almost like employing somebody.
Yeah.
But I am a massive believer in people buy off people.
Yep.
They don't buy off robots unless you go to McDonald's, and I love doing that. As you can tell.
Looking good.
Thanks. I'll pay you later. But no, in regards to that, I mean, AI is a big thing, and I think it will become an even bigger thing. For me, the scary bit is how people embrace it and how people use it, because it can be used.
Crazy conversation with the solicitor last week. So he's noticed this year alone that he's had an 80% decline in people producing wills for people, because people are creating their own wills now on ChatGPT.
Yeah, but that's a positive for me, because if
until you die and something wrong.
Well, that's the thing, and that's to do with the AI itself.
Yeah,
because I mean, I might have a very basic understanding of AI, but the way I see AI is almost like a child.
Yeah.
So if you've got a child and you want to ask it a question from day one, with no reference, and just ask it a question, you're not going to get what you need.
Yep.
But if you take your time with it and feed it information and tell it what it's doing, then it can be very powerful. I.e., you go from a child that's just been born to a 25-year-old adult that's gone through school, has gone through experience, gone through university. At that point there, that person can talk about experience, can talk about certain things. With AI, that 0 to 25 years could happen in the matter of minutes. Mm-hmm. And I think it can be good. And I think in that example with the solicitors, I mean, it's unfortunate for the solicitor, but as long as those people are using AI correctly for the right outcome and they're checking it, that's fine. I think the principle for me is checking what something is doing. Because if you click the wrong number on a calculator, or if you click the wrong plus or minus sign, you're going to come up with a different thing. And if you can't see it's different, you're then blind to what reality is. So you have to have that manual output to check what's being done, unless you're looking at like sheer volume of things. And that's where AI is absolutely obviously perfect for it. Yeah,
that's perfect. So I want to dig in a bit more into who Lawrence is, your personality. I know you're a straight talker. But I want to figure out what's been the hardest lesson you've faced in business within your career.
In business, I would probably say myself. I think anyone's biggest barrier is themselves in general terms. And I think for me, it just comes back to that imposter syndrome again. It's like the biggest thing that I find. God, sorry.
What I want to touch on is an event. I remember when I worked at the bank with you. I remember you telling me a story about what happened at a certain branch. Are you happy to speak about that?
Yeah, I'll talk around the edges. I mean, it was one of those situations that nobody wants to be in. You're in a bank and you feel like it's a professional environment, and next thing you know, chaos is erupting outside.
Yeah.
Long story short, some guys obviously wanted some cash.
Yeah.
And I think that was a defining point for me, because I think as you're young, you feel like you're untouchable, you're invincible, like almost like Jack the Lad, walk around with a good swag.
Yeah.
And that for me humbled my whole outtake on life. It was a situation where if something would have gone wrong, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you.
Yeah.
But fortunately, it didn't obviously pan out that way. And I think the thing that really struck me on that in regards to me personally, I think outside of business, it taught me to be more aware. And what I mean by aware is, if you're walking down a road, if you're in a certain environment, understand where you're at.
Yep.
Understand who you can see and what you can see. So I remember 3 or 4 months after that, every time I go to a pub or a restaurant, I would never sit in the middle. I would sit near a door. And I would sit where I can see a lot of different people. Yeah. So that changed my character. There were certain things like conversational skills. During that moment, you're having a conversation with somebody that's not rational. They're very irrational. So it helped me then understand how communication works, especially from a level where I'm not used to, because everything I used to do previously was a conversation with a friend like yourself, or a family member, or somebody at work, and it'd be all pleasant and polite. But that got me to understand that sometimes people have got triggers, and as soon as you hit that trigger, you need to figure out how to bring them back down, or even explain the reasons why you did that. But I think overall, I think it was one of those kind of things that just made you think about life in a slightly different way. I wouldn't say it changed me as an individual completely. I mean, it did for a couple of months, but I think...
And do you feel like you got the help and support from not only your employer, but your community at that point in life?
Yes and no. And I think, again, I'm the problem. I think work were very good, because they put me in touch with certain people I can talk about the experience, etc. But I'm not a massive talker. I mean, if you ask any of my family members, when you look at things like loss, it's very difficult for me. So whether it's loss or a traumatic experience, it takes me a while to understand what's happened. And I'm not one of these people who just goes, my instant reaction is X. My instant reaction is, what the hell has just happened? My next thought is, right, let's unravel what happened. And I'll go backwards in the chain of events rather than go straight to the chain of event. And what I found from that is, it's easy for me to digest information. And should I have been in that situation at that one particular time? Well, yeah. Fate tells me that. Should I have reacted the way I did? Well, I probably shouldn't have opened a door. Should I have probably tried to conversate with them? Possibly not. But all those things just make you learn that whatever kind of chaotic or traumatic experience you're in, there's not one set rule to do it. So like you hear about like hostage negotiation, that kind of stuff. Yeah, okay, I'll read certain things and I'll look at certain things, but who can train you for a situation that you've never been in before?
Correct me if I'm wrong. You was in the back office at the time, weren't you? You heard commotion going on outside. Why do you think you felt the urge or the need to get up and see what was going on?
Again, me myself.
Curiosity.
Well, yeah, I mean, I mean, curiosity killed the cat. I mean, there was a bit of me that was curious, and the other bit of me was, I was just abundantly aware that I was only male in the office. I've got colleagues out the front. And their life's as valuable as mine, if that makes any sense. And probably, and also the clients are in the branch as well. So I didn't think of anything, if I'm completely honest with you. A bit of curiosity, just thinking, who dares come in here shouting in the eyes, do you know who I am? That one got kicked out of me straight away. But I think the other side of me, I'm a natural protector. I'm not a fighter, but I'm a natural protector. So similar things, like I've heard conversations where like you've been on a bus and you can hear like a man saying something to a woman which is distasteful or anything like that. I'm the person that will listen and then I'll educate. So I may not get into get involved in the situation, but as soon as the man disappears, I mean, I've got off a bus before at the wrong bus stop just to go and speak to somebody, and just have a chat with them and just go, look, I've just observed what you just said. Like, why?
Kicked him.
Like, why? Because a part of me is like, sometimes I question why people can be the way they are, but sometimes it's about their journey. Sometimes it's about their education. Sometimes it's about a situation that they've been in. So I would never judge. I would always ask questions. I do find myself towards the end of it just going, I don't agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's not it isn't my position to tell them that I disagree with them.
Yeah.
I think it's everybody's right as a human being to make sure that if you see somebody in need, or you see someone in a difficult position, if it's not going to threaten your life, why wouldn't you get involved?
Yeah.
But to a certain degree.
Okay. So talking about judging people, adapting, you're a mixed race man. Do you feel like being mixed race is a superpower? Being able to adapt to not any situation, but being able to talk to people all walks of life?
Yeah, I mean, I would say up until 13, I saw no difference. I mean, I was kind of really lucky to be around people that really didn't see colour as a problem, if I'm completely honest with you. So up until the age of 13, if I'm honest with you, I didn't realise I was any different. Like, I really did not realise I was any different. I think when I started to realise I was different, it then starts coming out as like, well, what are you? Are you white? Are you black? Are you this? Are you that? And I'm just me. It's as simple as that. Yeah. But I think it is a superpower because not that people will treat you differently, but I think it's really important to understand how people communicate. And I think there is a difference between how you're brought up.
Yep.
It may be to do with your race, your religion, your creed, what you believe in. So for me, it is a superpower, but it's not labelled. For me, it's not labelled as a superpower. It just enables me to navigate through life in a slightly different way.
Okay.
I mean, for instance, if you had a room and they said, right, all the blacks go on one side, all the whites go on the other side, where do you think I would be?
Right in the middle.
Exactly that, because I'm not one of either. There's certain times where a part of me will come out, which is probably more work biased, and I've got another part of me that comes out that's more probably, I would say, outside of work biased.
Yeah.
But in general terms, I am who I am. And I think when I reflected, I remember probably around about 22, 23, and a really good friend of mine, he was probably on the scale of a bit too much on the whole subject of race and religion. And I remember having conversations with him. I would never tell you he was incorrect, but I could never have the same passion as him. And I think the reason being was because I just accepted the fact of I'm just a person. Okay, I'm made up of two different people, like you are, like everybody else is. Does it really matter where I'm from? I don't think it does. But on the flip side too, when you look at a superpower, I can speak to all different types of people. Yeah. And I can appreciate all different types of people, and I can have synergies with certain different type of people. Yeah. And it may be one side of me speaking, but it's still me. Integrally, it's me. But I do agree. Part of me thinks sometimes it can be a bit of a superpower. Yeah. Especially with the ladies when I was younger.
Fair enough.
I have to say stress younger. Not now.
All right. Just going on to this as well. So I remember a story you told me many years ago about a client of yours that lived on a farm. Mm-hmm. Did that put anything into perspective? You can explain it better than me. Yeah. But did that put anything into perspective for you at that point in your life? Yeah,
I mean, without going too much into the detail of it, the individual didn't expect somebody like me to be on their driveway. Mm-hmm. And I think the biggest learn for me was...
Just explain it a little further. So you pulled up in a 2 Series blacked out BMW.
Yeah.
But with your suit on.
Yeah, but it was a bank car as well. Okay. And the individual didn't realise why I was there. Yeah. And again, I don't know their story, so I won't want to say what they thought, but initially I was thinking to myself, well, they're not expecting me, and they're not expecting somebody who looked like me.
Yeah, yeah. Good old Denzel.
Yeah,
Denzel
exactly. Washington. Look nothing like it. So I think the one thing that taught me is if people can observe me for who I am, it's okay for me to observe who they are. Yeah. But on the flip side to it, it taught me how I should react. Because if I come across somebody and there is a difference, whether that's the skin colour, whether it's a disability or whatever the case may be, I can't just look at that as an in for a conversation or use it to my power. What I like to try and do is everybody's very, very different. I mean, you can walk up and down the high streets of most places in the UK and everyone's different. You go abroad, everyone's different.
It's true.
If somebody looks different or acts differently, why not?
Yeah.
That's why I come back to the weirdness part of me, because I could probably be in a room and people want to walk away from me because of my weird and unique nature. Absolutely fine. But if you want to find out a little bit more about me, just come and have a conversation.
Yeah.
Because I can be weird. I can be different. I probably can look aggressive sometimes. I probably can look like a softie at times. But that's just human nature. Yeah. And I think I would never say anything bad about somebody who hadn't had a perception of me. All I would say is, if you've got a perception of me which is negative, just come and have a conversation with me.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Because if the result is still negative, I'm happy you've given me the time to explain who I am. But if you take that perception on face value, it's just like reading a book. You can look at a cover and go, I don't really want to read that book.
Yeah.
But when you read it, you wish you would have read it a year earlier or 2 years earlier.
Yeah.
And that's the most important part for me. And again, I mentioned Mama quite a lot of times. My mum always spoke to me about, you don't have to fit in, but you have to observe, and you have to be acceptable, not accepted, acceptable. So you have, in your environment, you have to find a way of being accepted by somebody, or make sure that you can find it in yourself to be accepted. And sometimes you might have to do certain things that you don't really want to do, or that probably don't sit right well with you from an integrity perspective, or it's not in your nature. But I always balance it as what's the worst thing that can happen, because you know who you are and I know who I am.
Yeah.
If anything messes with my core beliefs, it's a straight no, literally straight no. But there are times in life where you have to bend and flex, and if you don't bend and flex, you're never going to realise what that conversation could have led to, or what that encounter would have led to.
Yeah. So what's been the proudest moment of your career so far?
I mean, if you talk about work, you mean?
We'll start with work. Start with work.
I think the proudest part for me, a bit weird, when I was made associate director. You could say director and regional director. You could say loads of different things.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't expecting it. And the reason why I'm proud of it is because I got the role because of what I've been doing. Sorry, because of me and because of my input.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes you can work in environments where, I don't know, people are deemed successful with the amount of money they've got in the bank account, or they're deemed successful because of X, Y, and Z. The feedback I had when I was made associate director made me feel as though, okay, hang on, for one moment in my lifetime, somebody actually understands what I'm actually about.
Yeah.
Because I did more when I was at the bank. I probably did more in my music, because I'm still doing that now, and I'm still not being where I need to get to. But it was that recognition of, you've come from somebody who was a bit lost for 4 years, trying to find the way as a broker, knew what was going on, but it was a very different environment. And then having that associate director title, it was a it was a big pat on the back for me. And I think the other part of it as well was, it made the missus proud of me, and it made my mum proud of me, made my brother proud of me, my sister, my friends and family. So I don't think, particularly for me, I'll have a proud moment ever in my life, because there's more of my life to come. The flip side is how people told me that they're proud of me, and that was probably one of the most pivotal times.
I like it. I'm proud of you. I like it. I like it. Okay, so I know people have a big misconception about what you do when it comes to business funding, business brokering. But what's one thing people have wrong about your industry?
The fact that a lot of people get rejected, if I'm honest with you. I mean, if I take myself back to the bank, there's set parameters and set policy. So let's say, for instance, you rented a building. Mm-hmm. You got a successful business, you're paying rent, and the landlord turns around to you and says, right, Wes, I'm going to be selling the building. And you're thinking, right, okay, so what happens to me? Yeah. Sometimes the misconception is, I've paid my rent and I'm not in a position to buy the actual property. But if you're already paying rent, why can't you pay for a mortgage?
Okay, yeah, I'm with you.
I think the misconception is probably media to a certain degree. So if you look at media, you're going to hear all the bad news stories about certain things. There's not a lot of good news that's happened over the last, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. When the good news does come out, it gets marred by something else. Yeah. So if you think about the economy, think about the UK for the last, say, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, it's been up and down. It's been all over the place. Now, it's a bit like if you're looking for a job. If you keep it on the news, unemployment, people are losing jobs, businesses are going abroad. As an unemployed individual, you're going to think, what's the point of me even trying? I might as well just carry on what I'm doing and something might just happen. And the misconception in the work that we do is people sometimes don't believe they can actually access funding.
Okay.
And it's not about the individual.
Yeah.
Because you're a businessman.
Yeah.
If I ask you about your business, you can articulate it to me. The difference is, if you want to grow your business and you need investment, it's not really just talking about your business, it's talking about your business in a slightly different way. Now, you've either got the skills to do it, or you need the skills to do it.
Yep.
You can go and develop those skills, or you can speak to people like us, where we can turn around and say, well, if you're thinking about that, what about the SWOT analysis? Okay. What are the strengths? What are the weaknesses? What are the opportunities? What are the threats? You challenge people as well, Because you might have a really good idea.
Yeah.
I've been in finance for over 20 years.
Yeah.
If it's not a good idea from a finance perspective, if you're not looking for finance, I've got nothing to say to you because I don't want to go and burst your bubble.
Okay.
But if you're looking for finance, I'm allowed to challenge you. So I think the misconception is the door's always shut. Nobody will lend me money. The industry I'm in is rock bottom and issues are happening.
Yeah.
But we're still helping first-time buyers. We're still helping people who have gone through issues.
Yeah.
Even take hotels, for instance. We had a deal agreed a few weeks back for 1.19% above base rate.
Wow.
I mean, who would have thought that?
Wow.
And it wasn't the easiest of deals.
Yeah.
And it was a very big loan as well.
Yeah.
And it was with a high street bank. Now, you can go and speak to any hotelier up and down the street. If they haven't got a large, obviously a large group of hotels, they maybe have one, or they maybe want to go and buy one. They would think in their mind they can't access finance. And for me, anything's accessible.
Yeah.
It depends upon what your expectation is. And sometimes, you got to enter clients and say, I know you want to buy that. I know you want to do all these plans with it. I know you got cash flow forecasts. I know you've got a proper plan. You've got Bob who's going to help you out as well. But I don't think I can help you.
Yeah.
And that's also as powerful as saying, yes, I can.
I think another misconception, don't want to speak for you, but for like my generation, what we think of corporate is boring. It's by the book. It's people in suits, sat around a table, all looking alike. I think having this conversation, having you on this podcast will put corporate into a different light and a different perspective. Letting people know there's weird and wonderful people.
Yeah, I mean, I don't do a lot of corporate deals, but I do speak to a lot of corporate clients. And we've got two really really good corporate guys at our business. And if you looked at both of them, one of them looks like your traditional corporate banker, and the other one looks so far past a corporate director. It's really interesting, and I think corporate for me is more of a category rather than a way of life. So who's to say somebody like me or you can't be in corporate? Mm-hmm. But the way in which we speak and the way in which we transact has to be corporate. Yeah. So corporate's not disappeared. I just think things have relaxed a little bit. Yeah. I mean, do you see a lot of bankers and brokers in ties at the moment? You probably don't.
You know what? I'm just thinking of a conversation we had like 8 years ago where you gave me a glossary of different business terms back when we were in the banking days. Saying, Wes, you can't say this, you can't say that, you have to say this.
Exactly that. And I think, again, it depends on what you mean by corporate, because if you work for a corporate institution or a corporate business, then your mindset has to be corporate, because if not, it'd be a bit like you having a marketing company and not focusing on marketing. Yeah. Why would you do that? So corporate will never move, and the idea of corporate will never ever change. But I think the landscape is changing. The people who are in those positions, the way in which you conduct yourself is slightly different. Yeah. There are corporate clients that I've spoken to who are very much like you and me. Mm-hmm. But there are corporate clients I've spoken to that are very distant from what we are. Yeah. So corporate's here to stay, and corporate's a really good part of the UK economy, because that's what is the engine room as far as I'm concerned. That's what stimulates growth to a whole new level. Okay. The difference is I think it's more accessible for people like you and me. Yeah. Yeah. Whether you work within an industry that deals with corporates or whether you want to be a corporate, there is that opportunity. And I think things like social media, AI, all that kind of stuff always lends its hand to it, because I've spoken to people before with a pie dream. I've gone, not too sure. And you come across them on LinkedIn later on down the line, you think, wow, Jesus, how the hell have you managed to get from there to there? Yeah, yeah. And the funny thing about it is they haven't changed. Yep. Like, they've gone from a business to a corporate business, and they're still the same person. Yeah. But I can guarantee you now, behind closed doors, in conversations and board meetings and with banks and all that kind of different things, they're going to be a very, very different person. They're going to be a polished corporate individual, but still themselves. Yeah,
I like it. So I'm forever grateful for you, Lawrence, for helping me get 11 Views up and running off the ground. Spent a lot of time with you around yours, doing the business plans, having you there to support me and mentor me. Yeah. But what's the legacy you want to leave behind? What's Lawrence Roberts' legacy?
Well, first of all, I didn't help you.
You did?
No.
You did.
I did what I did when we was in the music part, when we was DJing. I was saying, right, where's you got to get on the mic? Like, I pushed you, but I didn't help you. I made you realise just how good you are. And I think that's very, very different. I've said this to you a number of times. There's no need to thank me. There's no need to say, oh, I helped you do it. That wasn't me. That was you. I was on the sidelines cheering you on. Fair enough. That's not a problem. We sat down and went through business plans. That was an interesting situation. But legacy is an interesting one. I remember Oprah Winfrey said something about it isn't my place to tell you what my legacy is, and my journey's not finished yet. So my legacy today may be something different in the future. I think for me, I want to already be known to commit to things. to be happy with change, and just to, if I've added something to somebody's life, just something small, whether I don't know, stopped you from eating a cake if you're overweight, right up to helping you start a business and stuff like that. I just want to be known for somebody who always had the door open rather than always closed, or closed when they wanted to be, because I could be dealing with the most horrific stuff in my personal life, but I will still take the time to speak to people because there's going to be a time where I need that. And I don't like being told no. So if I need something, I like to be heard and listened.
Yeah.
So legacy is an interesting one for me. I don't really like it because I'm not that good at talking about myself, because I'm constantly trying to better myself. Yeah. But if there was ever a legacy, I think door always open, willing to help, willing to listen, and willing to give advice.
You're on that right path, man.
You're on that right continues.
Path. Yeah, you're on the right path. So how can people connect with you? If anyone's interested in growing their business, about the services that you offer at Christie, how can people find you? Is LinkedIn the best platform?
LinkedIn's always the best platform, just to firstly engage with us. But we've got a website. I'm sure there'll be captions going on if you want, or you can put it in the notes, etc. I think for me, it's better to speak to my team. Okay. I mean, I would say I'm a good broker. Other people say I'm an excellent
people's person.
Yeah, you don't want to speak exactly to. That. But no, I mean, for the last 18 months, I've been really focused on growing my team. Yep. Bringing the right people in, helping them develop, etc. So for the last 18 months, I know a lot about what's going on in the market. So if someone wants to have a conversation about growth, I can have that conversation. I've empowered my team to be better versions of me, and all of them are better brokers than me, much better brokers than me. So I would say, initially engage with me, but do not be offended if I pass you on to one of my expert brokers, because I can talk about growth, but if you want it to happen, I think one of my team will be able to best support you.
I like it. Thank you very much for your time, man. Good catching up with you. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you.